All right, so we're going deep on some AI research today.
Okay.
You sent over this paper, CBT-Bench, evaluating large language models on assisting cognitive behavior therapy.
Yeah.
We saw your background, pretty technical into AI, so we thought,
Yeah.
this would be right up your alley.
For sure.
Can AI actually help with therapy? Something so human and complex.
Yeah, it's a question a lot of people are asking.
Yeah.
Especially with,
All the AI
all this AI stuff flying around.
Yeah, exactly.
So this paper, it looks at CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy,
Okay.
which, as you probably know, is a type of therapy that helps people change negative thought patterns.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So, it's like rewiring your brain to be more positive.
Gotcha. So CBT is like the playing field here.
Exactly.
But how do you even test if AI can do this?
Well, that's where CBT-BenMTH comes in.
Okay.
It's a benchmark. Think of it like a test to see how well large language models, LLMs, can help with different parts of CBT.
Right.
And they break it down into 3 levels.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like a video game.
I like that.
To see what AI can handle.
Okay, so what's level 1?
Level 1 is basic knowledge.
Okay.
Can AI grasp the fundamentals of CBT?
Right.
They tested this with multiple choice questions about stuff like core beliefs, cognitive distortions. And you know what? The big LLMs, the massive ones, they aced it.
Yeah, no surprise.
Makes sense.
They're trained on
tons of data.
So much stuff.
So spitting out facts is easy for them.
Yeah, but being a therapist takes more than just knowing the textbook, right?
Exactly. And that's where level 2 gets really interesting.
Okay.
It's called understanding the cognitive model. This is where CBT therapists really shine.
Okay.
They create a cognitive model.
Okay.
Like a map of how the patient's thoughts and feelings and beliefs are all connected.
So it's not just about knowing the definitions, but actually applying them to understand a person's thought patterns.
Yes. They created 3 data sets for this: CBT-CD, CBT-PC, and CBT-FC, each testing a different piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
CBT-CD looks at if AI can spot cognitive distortions.
All or nothing thinking.
Or catastrophizing.
Exactly. Those thought traps that can mess you up.
Yeah.
And then there's CBT-PC, which tests if AI can find someone's primary core beliefs.
Oh, okay.
Like, deep-seated beliefs about ourselves, like I'm unlovable or I'm not good enough.
Right.
And finally, CBT-FC.
Okay.
It pushes things further, looking at fine-grained core beliefs, the more specific beliefs under those broader categories.
So it's really getting granular here. Like instead of just saying someone feels helpless,
right,
it has to figure out why they feel helpless.
Exactly. And this is where we see some interesting results.
Okay.
Smaller AI models actually outperform the bigger ones at this level.
So bigger isn't always better when it comes to understanding,
the nuances of human thought.
Exactly.
So AI can learn all about CBT.
Yeah.
Even start to map out someone's thoughts.
Right.
But can it actually, talk therapy?
Yeah, you're on the right track.
Okay.
Level 3, that's the boss level.
Okay.
It's all about therapeutic response generation.
Okay.
Can AI respond to a patient like a real CBT therapist would?
Right, but they can't have AI, running real therapy sessions, right?
Exactly.
Confidentiality, ethical concerns.
Yeah, so they had to get creative.
Okay.
They used a method called deliberate practice.
Deliberate practice.
Which is actually a technique they use to train human therapists.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they give the AI realistic patient statements.
Okay.
I know I said I'd go to that event, but I just stood in the corner and barely talked to anyone.
Yeah.
And each statement has an emotion label, like anxious or avoidant.
Okay, so they're trying to simulate, a real therapy session.
Yes, as close as possible.
And how did the AI do?
Well, the results were a mixed bag.
Okay.
They could sometimes follow the basic steps of CBT. Find the thought distortions.
Right.
Suggest some coping strategies.
Yeah.
But
there's always a bug.
There is.
Yeah.
Even when they said the right things, it lacked that human touch. It felt rigid, formulaic, focused more on logic than empathy.
Yeah, like the warmth.
Exactly.
And understanding that makes therapy feel safe.
Yeah, that's where human therapists still have the edge.
Okay.
They're good at validating feelings, building that rapport, tailoring responses to each person.
It sounds like AI has made some impressive strides in understanding CBT.
Yeah.
But it's got a long way to go before it replaces a human therapist.
That's a good summary of where things stand.
Yeah.
But the researchers did raise some cool points about how AI could potentially assist therapists in the future.
Okay, hold on. Before we move on, I'm kind of curious about those actual tasks in each level.
Okay.
We kind of skimmed over them, but
Yeah.
I'd love to dive deeper, especially since our listeners into the technical stuff.
Absolutely. Let's get into the details of how they put those LLMs to the test. So remember level I, like the basic knowledge?
Yeah.
To test this, they created a data set called CBT-QA.
Okay.
It was a bunch of multiple choice questions all about CBT, like, basic concepts, how it's used.
Not just what it is, but how it works.
Exactly.
Okay.
They even used real exam questions.
Oh, wow.
From Master of Social Work program.
So they really wanted to see if AI could keep up with the human.
Yeah, like could it pass a real test?
Wow, that's a high bar.
And the large language models.
Yeah.
The big ones, like GPT-4, they did really well.
Really?
Answering questions about cognitive distortions, core beliefs, techniques, like it was nothing.
Impressive.
But then level 2...
Yeah, that's where things got more interesting, right?
Yeah, understanding the cognitive model.
Not just the definitions, but actually putting it all together.
They used 3 data sets for this one.
Okay.
CBT-CD was about those cognitive distortions.
Okay.
They gave the AI patient statements.
Right.
And said, okay, find the distortion.
So like black and white thinking.
Exactly, or mind reading.
Yeah, taking those textbook definitions and applying them to real examples.
Yeah, it's a step up for sure.
For sure.
Then there's CBT-TC.
Okay.
That's about those core beliefs.
Right,
like helplessness or unlovableness.
Yeah, the deep stuff.
Yeah, that can really shape someone's world.
I imagine trying to figure that out.
It's tough.
From just a few statements is like really hard.
Yeah, like a puzzle with missing pieces.
Yeah.
And finally, there's CBT-FC.
Okay.
This one takes it even further.
All right.
It's about those fine-grained core beliefs.
Right. So not just like helplessness, but what kind of helplessness?
Yeah, is it I'm incompetent or I can't do anything right?
Yeah, super specific.
And this is where even the big models started to struggle.
Really?
They did okay with the main core beliefs.
Okay.
But those fine-grained ones really tripped them up.
Interesting.
Shows how complex human thought really is.
Yeah, hard to capture that in AI.
It really makes you appreciate human therapists picking up on those tiny clues.
Yeah, and like understanding the deeper meaning of what someone's saying.
But this research is still early,
True.
AI is learning fast.
Yeah, so let's talk about level 3,
Okay.
that boss level.
Right.
Where they tested if AI could actually have a therapy conversation.
Yeah, they used deliberate practice for this.
I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like?
So imagine these exercises designed to be like a therapy session. Each one, the AI gets a patient statement, plus an emotion label.
So something like, I keep messing everything up at work.
Exactly.
And then like frustrated.
Yeah, and the AI has to respond like a therapist would.
Like a role-playing game.
Exactly, for AI therapists.
Okay, but how do you judge if the AI is doing well?
It's not just right or wrong answers.
Right.
They brought in human experts.
Oh, okay.
Real CBT therapists. To judge the AI's responses.
So they were looking for specific things.
Yeah, what makes a good CBT intervention?
Like if the AI validated the feelings?
Exactly.
Spotted the thought patterns? Offered coping strategies?
Yes.
Yeah.
They wanted to see if the AI hit those key points.
Okay.
And the results were interesting.
Yeah.
AI did well in some areas.
Okay.
It often found the distortions.
Great.
Even suggested techniques. Like cognitive restructuring or behavioral activation.
Yeah.
But.
There's the but.
There it is.
Yeah.
It fell short on the human element.
So it can follow the steps.
Yeah.
But no empathy.
Exactly.
Like talking to a chatbot.
Yeah.
That's read a psychology textbook.
Right.
But hasn't actually felt those emotions.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Human therapists were so much better at building rapport, validating feelings.
Yeah.
Really tailoring their responses.
Makes sense. That's what makes therapy feel safe and supportive.
It's not just the words.
Yeah.
It's the feeling behind them.
Exactly.
And that's where AI still needs work.
Okay.
But even with these promising results, it's clear human therapists are still essential.
Yeah.
At least for now.
Agreed.
One thing that really struck me was how those smaller AI models sometimes did better than the bigger ones.
Okay.
Especially on that cognitive model stuff.
Right, yeah.
They were really good at, like, picking up on those nuances of human thought.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
You'd think, more data.
Right.
Clear advantage.
You'd think so.
But maybe it's not just about the amount of data.
Maybe it's the quality of it.
Right, like smaller models focusing on...
It's like they're learning to think.
Yeah.
More like human therapists.
Right, who are good at, extracting meaning from small details.
Exactly. And that leads to another interesting point.
Okay.
The researchers talked about how AI struggles to think from the patient's perspective.
Right, it gets stuck in that logical, robotic way of thinking.
It's like it's following a script.
Yeah, instead of really listening.
Exactly. Human therapists are much more intuitive, flexible. They can adjust based on the patient.
It's about that empathy connection.
Yes. That intangible something.
Right.
That makes therapy...
And AI has come a long way.
Yeah.
Like simulating conversation. But that human empathy...
You're still missing.
I used to wonder if it'll ever...
Right.
Like, is that a fundamentally human thing?
Yeah. Is it something we can even teach?
It's a big question.
Philosophers have been debating this forever.
Yeah.
And this research adds a whole new layer.
What if AI could truly understand those emotions?
Yeah.
Like a human therapist.
What would that mean for mental health care?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And a little scary.
For sure.
To think about.
But it's important to have these conversations now.
Yeah, while AI is still developing.
We need to be proactive.
Right. About how it's used.
Especially in mental health.
Yeah, such a sensitive area.
Make sure it's used to benefit us.
Okay, so final thought for you.
Okay.
Given your interest in tech.
Yeah.
Imagine AI has mastered empathy. Would you be open to an AI therapist?
That's a good one.
What advantages, disadvantages do you see?
A lot to think about.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure.